We are live. We got Harry W. We got Richie from Jets Media, Matt O'Leary, Iowa Jets fan, who in the house. We got Dom C in the house. We got Steve, live, CEO of the Jet Lounge. So I knew I'd get rich on my channel. See what's going on. Yeah, there we go. Woo.
Jets by $1 million today.
Yeah.
Is Jalen Carter worth the 13th pick? Well, I'll tell you, talent-wise, it's a no-brainer. Talent-wise, he is an incredible player. And if he's there at 13, logic would say you run to the podium, right? But I have concerns. And there's some character issues potentially. What are you talking about? What character issues? Okay, first of all, apparently he's involved in some high-speed chase where his teammate dies. And the only thing I've heard from the guy, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe he's come out and said other things, but all I hear is I did nothing wrong. And maybe that's true, right? But obviously teams have concerns. The Raiders have come out and said that they're not even interested in them. Now, to be fair to the kid, I have no idea what his involvement was. He may have been racing the other car. I don't know. They're in college, stupidity. They do stupid things. He certainly, I don't think there's any evidence that he did anything to instigate it. I mean, he certainly didn't do anything to prevent it. But, okay, fine. But then I see in the news the other day that Jalen Carter decides that he's not going to speak to any team outside of the top 10. Now, that's pretty freaking arrogant. That's pretty arrogant. And if you want to talk about character and you're like worried about who you bringing onto your team, you do have to think about that kind of arrogance. Here's a kid who's never taken an NFL snap saying, I will only talk to the 10 teams that are picking in the top 10. I know people say, oh, it's his agent. Well, I don't care. It's not an excuse anymore. Whatever your agent does, you're responsible for. He's a big boy, college educated. He's all grown up. Okay, but here's the stupid part about it. And this is why I question his intelligence. So if the Jets called Jalen Carter and said, we'd like to bring you in for an interview, right? Because maybe, right? So right away, he says, well, they pick at 13, and I'm a top 10 player. So, oh, nope. I refuse to interview you, right? How does he know that Joe Douglas wasn't going to trade up? How does he know that any team that wants to speak to him? Maybe there's a team out there, let's say at 15, 16, that says, well, if he slips down to 8 or 9, maybe we could trade up. We can give like a second, third round next year. Maybe we can get up there with the team and get Jalen Carter. Huh. But guess what? That team can't do that now. That team cannot interview Jalen Carter and decide, or does want to be on their team? Is he a good fit? They don't have that opportunity because Jalen Carter went out and said, I won't talk to anybody that's not in the top 10. Now, a lot of people might say, well, then trade into the top 10 before draft day. No, because you have to see if he slips before you make that trade. If you were trying to trade into the 9 or the 8 spot to get a Jalen Carter, you have to know that he's there. So you can't. So how is this a smart decision? I have concerns because it's stupid. It's bad business. It's stupid if you're trying to get yourself to be the highest pick or be an attractive pick. It's a stupid move. It's also a very arrogant move to sit there and say, I won't even talk to you because I'm a top 10. I don't know. I think that's part of arrogance. I think that Clancy from Pittsburgh might end up being the better tackle in the long run. A lot of people say, no, it can't be. Oh, yes, it can be. How often does the number one player drafted at the position end up being that best player at that position? Sometimes. Always, no. No. Not always. One of the greatest centers to ever play, somebody was mentioning him the other day, was a 5th-round pick. My chat, I think it was Super Leroy. He's in here now. He said it himself. You get great players. Tyreek Hill, one of the top wide receivers in the NFL, 4th-round pick. If I back then would have said that Tyreek Hill is better than the top 3 wide receivers that were ranked that year, everybody would have said I was a fool. So these are prospects. Nobody's guaranteed. We don't know. Very rarely, compared to the entire draft class, do we get it right and know exactly who the best player is at a position. So look, I'm not saying 100% I don't take them. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying I have my concerns. Yeah, I doubt we'd see him there too, maybe. But saying that he won't talk to any team out of the top 10 is showing he's nervous about it. He's countering what people are saying. He's fighting back. This was a counter move because people are starting to talk, and we've seen players of this caliber slip because of questions in character. It's happened many times. Understand, it's not a little thing he was involved in. Teams are going to ask about it. 2 people died in what supposedly, and again, I'm no expert. I didn't hear the testimony. I'm not pretending I know. I'm just saying in what appeared to be some kind of drag race or car race that he was involved in. Now, some people, again, will say, hey, he didn't do it, though. He didn't kill them. Maybe he was in the other car and he said, okay, we'll race. And maybe someone would say, well, that's not really a character problem or an issue with character. Okay. But some people might say, I would have wanted somebody who said, no, let's not race. This is dangerous. Because you're looking for a leader. Now, they're young. They're kids. So to sit there and put that on a kid and say you're not worth picking because you warrant that much of a leader, I don't know. But when you add on I don't want to talk to any team outside of the top 10, it's really dumb. Thanks, Eminon. I appreciate that. Yeah, hit the like button. It's a dumb decision. Be humble. Talk to every team that wants to interview you. Because one of those teams might want to trade up. It's not likely. I mean, I'm not saying teams, but what if somebody absolutely loves you? What if it was Joe Douglas? We've seen him trade up before. What if Joe Douglas said, I don't care, I have to have this guy next to Quinnen Williams. It will be the best defensive line in the NFL, will dominate and be the best defense in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers will be on the offensive side. We'll worry about tackle and center later in the draft. We'll make it happen. We'll sign that guy Jones. We'll fix those things another way. But we will be the number one defense if we get this kid. What if Joe Douglas was thinking like that? It's not even a bad way to think, right? Quinnen Williams and Jalen Carter together. Carl Lawson, Huff, John Franklin Myers, Clemens, JJ. Look at that defensive line. Holy cow. We will eat people alive. Maybe Joe Douglas would say, I'm trading up to get this guy. But guess what? He can't. Because you can't trade up and grab a guy and not only use your 13th pick, but other capital to trade up. You can't make a move like that for somebody who you couldn't even sit down and interview. Can you? I don't know. So I have my questions. Now, look, this probably doesn't affect us. He probably goes in the top 6. The only reason that he doesn't go in the top 3 is because of the need for quarterback, right? I mean, we already know that the top 2 teams are taking a quarterback. We know Carolina and Houston are picking quarterbacks. We know that. And there's a good chance that Indianapolis is in the top 4, right? There's a good chance they're going to pick a quarterback. So that's why we're even talking about him going into, when I say 6th pick. Well, because a lot of people say, well, who gets picked other than him? That's not a quarterback. Well, Will Anderson, that's who. Will Anderson, who we were talking, who could have probably went in the top 10 last year if he was eligible to come out of the draft, right? People have been watching Will Anderson forever. Edge. And I didn't even mention this, but Red John, thanks for bringing this up. There's another thing to be concerned about, and that's his pro day. It scared people because he came in 10 pounds, whatever it was, overweight. And as Jet fans, we dealt with that. We dealt with the weight thing. So here's a guy. Now, again, it could have been, screw that, I've done enough. It could be just his attitude might be, you know what? I'm not going to sit here. I'm going to get drafted soon enough, and I'm going to be watching my fitness. I'm going to spend my whole life pretty much watching what I eat, exercise, this, that, staying fit. And there's going to be certain windows in my life where I could gain some weight and eat, because then I'll start working out and I'll take the weight off. But I'm going to have windows of my young life where I get to pig out, because we're all people. And sometimes we want to go to White Castle or whatever his thing is. So he may have decided, you know what? I did enough. If they don't know that they want to pick me, too bad. I'm going to get picked in the top 10 anyway. I'm confident of it. He may have thought this and said, I don't have to sit here and stay in shape for my pro day. I'll get in shape before I go into camp. I'll lose the 10 pounds in 10 days. I'll start working out. I'll cut the calories, whatever his thing is, and I'll cut the weight. But for this month after my college season and my college career, where I work my tail off, where I work out in the gym and I eat the food they tell me to eat, I'm going to just enjoy myself and relax a little for a while. And I'm not going to worry about having to stay fit for some pro day to prove myself to some scouts when I put up the banging career that I put up on the field, and you could just look at the tape. Okay. But when you combine it with the car thing and the incident where somebody died, and he pleaded no contest, and then all of a sudden he won't talk to any team that's not in the top 10, basically saying, what is he saying in that? I'm not wasting my time talking to you because I'm so sure that I'm being picked in the top 10. Again, no opportunity for a team to trade up and get you. Not very smart. Not saying it's likely, but why would you do it? And Patty Grimes says, you don't pig out before the biggest job interview of your life. Well, he might not have considered it. He might have said, it doesn't matter. I don't need to come up to the pro day and be good. I don't need to come out and pro day and prove anything. And it's true, because look, he's still projected to go. Somebody just said he won't be around at 8. So he's still projected to go top 6, Patty, even though he pigged out before the biggest job interview of his life. But now what he's doing is what's weird about what he's doing now is that now he's not even interviewing. So if a team at 11 or 12 or 13, the Jets, or 14, New England, if those teams want to talk to him, he's saying he won't talk to them. So what if he slips? If he doesn't go in the top 10, what does that mean? That means that every team after that, if they were going to pick you, now might be hesitant because now you're a mystery to them because you refuse to talk to them. So they didn't even get to ask you questions about the pro day. What happened? Maybe he had a small injury. He wasn't able to do his cardio. He wasn't able to work out as much, so he gained some weight. Maybe he went on some family vacation or something. Maybe he has something that he would say to them that would make them feel a little bit better about it. I don't know. But now you're one of these teams using your first pick, your assets, very important draft capital, and now you have to draft a guy that wouldn't even talk to you. I don't know how that makes sense. Maybe other players have done it. I don't know about that. I don't know the other players that done it. I just know that if it's me, remember when people wanted to put their best foot forward? They want humble. I want to win. I want to help a team win. You go on your interviews. If you choose me, you're getting a team player who wants to win. Even if you're full of crap like Elijah Moore. Did I say that? Even if you're full of crap, you would think that you would at least have the common sense to put your best foot forward. Pretend to be humble. Pretend not to be an arrogant punk. To me, it's arrogance. To sit there and say, I'm not going to interview with anybody outside the top 10 because I'm too good and I won't be there. It doesn't make sense to me. I think it's dumb. I think it's just a bad move. Anyway, what's going on, R&R? Talking Jets with Chigo is doing his homework, but he came to say hello. Twisted is there. What's going on? Super Leroy, who loves to criticize my videos and question every decision I make, but still love me and support me anyway, is here. What's up, Super Leroy? Ice Force Quest, we're already addressing some of the things you're saying. Red John, Patty Grimes. Some guy is here. What's going on, some guy? If he falls to 13 and refuses to talk to the Jets, they shouldn't draft him. I know. That's the thing. And I know people are going to say, oh, no, you got to draft him. You got to draft him. Really? He refused to talk to you. You're going to draft a guy? You're going to use that freaking valuable pick on somebody who you never spoke with? I mean, do we care at all about character? Don't we want to know who we're bringing into the locker room? That doesn't matter at all? You guys haven't seen the change in the last 2 years? That we're not a joke anymore? Part of that is because we're careful about who we bring in. I say that as we fight to bring in Aaron Rodgers. Although I think a lot of the Aaron Rodgers things is greatly exaggerated. Yeah, I'm done with Carter. It's one thing to make a mistake, but when you make a decision like this, it says a lot about your character. I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, it's he doesn't know that teams could trade up. Apparently not. Look, I'm not saying don't take him. I'm not here yelling and screaming, don't take Jalen Carter if he slips to 13 somehow. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I have concerns. I have concerns. Character means a lot to me. Bringing in arrogance, I don't know. Is he not going to be a hard worker? Does he expect it to come easy? The NFL is different. You're going up against every NFL tackle and guard you're going up against is different than in college. You're going up against the best of the best. Men that are 5 years older than you, 3 or 4 years older and more experienced than you. You have to be a hard worker. David Gerard says, what's up? Wild Wave, what's up? Ice Quest is basically asking not to get picked. I wouldn't want a guy like that on my team. I mean, that's what I'm thinking that some teams might think. And JD and JD and Salah, everything they've talked about suggests that they would avoid a guy like this. And it's crazy because I know the talent. There's no denying the talent. Sounds like the kind of guy the Raiders would pick, but the Raiders said they wouldn't pick him. They already came out. I don't know if it's true. Can't trust the media. But somebody came out and said the Raiders have made it clear they don't want to pick him because the issues the Raiders have had with players, right? They already had a guy involved in a car accident, drunk driving, who's going to be going to jail. Some defensive player, right? Was he killed or like something horrible happened to him? I mean, they've had issues. So I think the Raiders don't want to take any chances. He didn't refuse to talk to the Jets specifically, David. He refused to talk. He announced that he won't be talking to any team that doesn't have a top 10 pick. Now, even if you don't have a problem with that kind of arrogance, what about the stupidity? The stupidity of saying, don't trade up to get me. Wouldn't you want to interview with a team like the Jets and try to convince them, hey, you should trade up and get me? I would. I think this draft is weak. I want to trade back. I would love to trade back because the sweet spot of this draft is 25 to 45. Because the drop off in that level is not that high. It's not as much of a drop off unless you need a quarterback or I mean let's not fool ourselves. Every draft has great players, and every draft when you look back at it will have proven to create Hall of Fame players. But it's certainly not the most exciting draft class to come out. Now, look, we're probably going to have to give away one of those second round picks. So we got a first, second, no third, fourth, fifth, or whatever it is. So if a draft is going to be weak, at least it's not the year that we had two first round picks and ended up trading up for a first round pick and had a low early second round pick. At least last year we took advantage of the right draft. But, history always ends up defining how good a year is. This draft class can end up being the best in a decade one day when we look back at it. One never knows. If everybody hits, what if Will Anderson and Jalen Carter both become Hall of Famers? What if 2 of the 3 or 4 quarterbacks become Hall of Famers? I know it's a lot of what ifs. What if the 4 or 5 top tackles are all Pro Bowlers? What if Najigba surprises people and Addison surprise people and become great wide receivers? And what if the cornerbacks that are all rated high become star cornerbacks, and the tight end class, which is rated high, have a few superstar tight ends, and we get 3 or 4 great Hall of Fame edge type guys in this strong edge class? What if all that ends up happening, and then this is looked upon as an amazing draft class? But from looking ahead at it, it doesn't look as exciting or as strong as past drafts. But again, like I said, we don't know until we know. Doesn't sound too bright. Wants a scrub team to pick him at top. Well, he wants to get picked at the top because it's all about ego and money. Remember, where you're picked is about money. So that's, it's got a lot to do with it. It's like you get picked, every pick is tons of money as you go down the draft. But it's to me, it's ego. He just has a tremendously large ego, Jalen Carter. I've got to be a top 10 pick. I'm not even going to talk to any team that's not in the top 10. So arrogant that he didn't even think, I'm not even going to give you the option to trade up and get me. Which is, not very smart. And TV Man comes in, says, hey, fellas, Carter. Agent is Drew Rosenhaus. That explains a lot. Drew is some notable troublemaker clients. Antonio Brown, probably his agent's idea. Well, it's very possible it's his idea, but man, he's the dumb agent then. Stupid agent. I mean, yeah, he's probably going in the top 10, and it probably doesn't matter. But what if somebody wanted to trade up to get him? And what if the way it falls, he doesn't get picked? Nothing's guaranteed. Yeah, I thought Kayvon Thibodeau actually went down a little bit, right? He still got picked, 6th or 7th by the Giants, but supposed to be top 3. Didn't happen. Cost him some money. Maybe he was a little arrogance. He worried some people. Chiefs Live. What's going on, Chiefs Live? Good to see you here. Now the Chiefs have no chance to get Jalen Carter, right? They pick at 31. But guess what, Chiefs Live? Your team doesn't even get to talk to him. So if he slipped for some reason to 16, 17, and Andy Reid said, man, I want and the Chiefs could use a great tackle. And Andy Reid said, man, Jalen Carter is slipping. Maybe that accident, maybe because he wasn't in shape for his pro day. Oh, my God, teams are afraid to take him. Guess what? Andy Reid's going to say, but I didn't get to interview him. See, teams interview players that they know that won't realistically be on the board because they have enough experience to know that nothing's for certain. That you never know what's going to happen, what opportunities will come to trade up, or just who's going to slip. You just don't know. It happens all the time. Players slip. They slipped back and back and back. The year that Green Bay picked Aaron Rodgers, they didn't know he'd be there. Most people didn't believe he would be there. Most people didn't think Aaron Rodgers would be there. Now, I got to check my history book. I don't know, but I assume the Green Bay Packers interviewed Aaron Rodgers. Maybe they didn't. There's a chance they said, screw it, it's a quarterback. We're just going to grab him. We need one. And I can't believe he slept. But there's a chance that they interviewed with him because I don't think Aaron Rodgers said, I'm only going to interview with the top 10 teams. Doesn't make any sense. Also, we look way too deep into these interviews. Remember, we can only interview 30 guys. Most of those guys are first-round picks. By the second round, they're mostly gone. So usually, whoever we pick, that's the one guy that in the first round, that's the one guy we interviewed. So you can't look into it. Sometimes we don't even waste our interviews on it. Sometimes we might say, hey, we talked to him at the Senior Bowl. We know if this guy's there, we're going to take him. Let's talk to some third and fourth round potential guys. Let's talk to Weipler and Schmitz and Avia and figure out who our center is going to be. Right? So you only get to talk to 30. But that doesn't mean that all the guys you draft are going to be the 30 guys you spoke with. How much does Carter refusing to interview outside the top 10 affect JD wanting to take him? Well, that's what the question is, Fallen Jets. That's what I've been talking about. That's why I did this video. Because I have concerns about it. I think it's arrogant. I think it's weird. I like humble players. It's okay to be confident, but also appreciative of what you have. The arrogance. You're given this gift. You have this gift. You work. I'm not taking them away that they work hard players, but come on. There's thousands, literally. How many high school football teams in Canada or in the U.S. alone? With thousands of athletes that go to practice, work hard, want to be great, will do anything they can to be great, and aren't blessed with nearly enough talent to ever even have the hope of it. So, yes, you have to work hard, but it's not just work hard. It's not that every NFL talent, it's just solely that they worked harder. No. Some people are born with this beautiful gift. And the arrogance to sit there and say, the disrespect to the other people in the draft even, to say, I have to be the top 10. It's not in my personality to understand that. Because I would never say that or feel that way. I'd never disrespect my draft class that way. I might believe it inside, but I'd never say it. I'd never outwardly say, I'm so confident that there aren't 10 guys better than me that I won't even talk to people outside the top 10. Yeah, I think he's just hurting his character. And Drew Rosenhaus might be, I don't know, as an agent, why this would benefit him. I don't. Because you want your guy to present himself as the best possible character, the most humble, best kid possible. A kid who's going to work hard, a kid who's never going to make you regret the pick. I already see a holdout coming. I see a kid who's in his third year is going to start holding out for that extension. He's not going to want to play out the rookie contract, the option. He's going to be a problem. That's what I'm sensing. He's already saying, I don't even want to talk to you if you're not in the top 10. I don't even want to talk to you. I don't want to humbly meet the general managers, the coaches in the NFL, the league I want to play with. They want to talk to me. I don't know why if they're the 15th pick, because I don't expect to be there. Maybe they'll trade up. Maybe they won't. Maybe just in case they slip. It's an honor. They can only talk to 30 guys out of all these guys in the draft. And they want to talk to me, and I'm saying you can't talk to me. I don't know how that's a good decision. I just don't know. Some of you might want to know, why does he have that pinned thing about Grant Rood being a fragile egg? Grant Rood, by the way, if you ever know him or see him in any other chat, Grant Rood is the biggest lowlife alive. He's a bully, and as soon as you speak up to him, he cries like a little baby. He's a little fragile egg. So if you ever see Grant Rood in a chat, just call him the egg. Say, hey, you're a fragile egg. He only had one gent content provider that tolerated him, and that gent provider quit YouTube. Not Frankie, it was a different one. Quit YouTube. So he lost the only jet YouTube content provider that didn't throw him out and hate him. because he's such an obnoxious bully. So if you ever see him, just let him know. Say, you're a fragile egg, Grant Rude. You're just like your name. You're rude like your name. And he's married to one of the most heinous human beings I've ever set eyes on, by the way. It's like take Miss Piggy and imagine Miss Piggy in real life. You'd rather have that as a wife, that puppet, than what he married. But anyway, I digress. Let me move on. Ronald Perry, how's it going? Everybody's saying hello to each other. I like it. New York Jets superfan, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you here. Yeah, you affect how top 10s of the team will see him as well, not just the Jets. Yeah, like even if you're a top 10 team, like the Raiders, if it's true that they said we're not gonna, talk to him. Like if the Raiders already said that, they're saying, see, look at this guy. Look at this guy. He'll only talk to the top 10 teams. Well, guess what? Is Carolina going to waste a spot on him out of their 30? They know they're taking a quarterback, right? You think Carolina is going to talk to the 4 quarterbacks, and then because they know they're taking one, they traded up to take one, and then you think that Carolina is going to talk to all second-round prospects and third-round prospects, whatever they're planning to do with their later picks, right? So they're not going to talk to him. Houston's not going to talk to him. Indianapolis is not going to talk. Like any team that's taking a quarterback is not going to talk to him. So right away, you may have only 5 or 6 teams left, and the Raiders already said they're not interested. And if somebody already knows they love Will Anderson, they're not interested. So you're running out of buyers. How many, you know what I mean? How many teams are you going to talk to? Never burn bridges. Especially one day you're going to be a free agent. You're going to want somebody to pay you $25 million a year. Right? Maybe a team says, hey, we wanted to talk to you 4 years ago. You wouldn't even talk to us. I'm not paying you $25 million a year. I'll find some other defensive tackle. It's not the most impossible position to fill, by the way. It's not the position you have to have a superstar at. Don't get me wrong, we need to extend Quinnen Williams. That's a different thing. That's because we need to show players that we draft and players on our team that we reward our draft picks, that we draft people, and we have desire to create history and have players who spend their career with us. We can't just take every pick that we have, even the successful ones, and let them walk over money. Like we have to extend Quinnen Williams. But a team doesn't have to go out in free agency and spend $25 million a year on a defensive tackle who refused to talk to them 4 years earlier, so they don't even know nothing about them. Because guess what? You could talk to somebody now, and 4 or 5 years ago when you're a free agent, if your team doesn't want to re-sign you because they don't have the money or the cap, or you're not happy there and you want out, you may have left a very good impression on a team. Great interview. Oh, we always wanted to draft that guy. Remember, we had that great interview with him. He was great talent. He was such a good dude. Pay the $25 million. Let's grab him. Let's get that player. But now I don't even know that guy. He refused to talk to us. I'm not spending $25 million on him. So, Twisted says, thanks, Cass. Finally, we get another content that has a different format than the old drawn-out Rogers, or that it doesn't matter at this point in time, Zach. I was in the mood to talk about something else. I think we got to talk about something else. Thank you, Ronald Perry. I appreciate you, man. I think we have to talk about something else. And we don't have to agree. Like, you could sit there and say, Chaos, you're nuts. None of this matters. You take Jalen Carter. Tigo's saying that, and I'm fine with that. I love Tigo. He's my friend. Tigo is definitely saying that. He's doing his homework now. But if Tigo was here, he'd say, and he was on this call right now, if he was on with me, he'd say, I don't care. You take him, you take him. And that's fine. That's fine. Because I'm not definitively saying that if he slipped to 13 and JT took him, I'm not saying I'd be mad. Not saying that. Simply saying it concerns me when a player is coming out of college, does arrogant things. It just concerns me because we had guys that said all the right things that didn't work out. Elijah Moore said all the right things, and he's gone now. Right? Michael Carter, I didn't give up on Michael Carter, the running back. Like, I'm not down on him to like other people. I still have hope that he's going to be a good, solid running back too for us, or have some role with us. But he's starting to worry me. He's starting to, like, some of his actions on Twitter starting to create concern. And he says all the right things usually. So what happens when you get a guy who doesn't say the right things? It's a little scary to me, right? I'm not crazy, am I? It's a little scary to me. Like, he doesn't even pretend to care about saying the right things. The guy hasn't taken an NFL snap. He's already sitting there saying, "I refuse to talk to any NFL team except ones that have top 10 picks." And by the way, I'm announcing to the world that I'm too stupid to understand the concept of teams at 10, 11, 12, 13 that might actually trade up to get me, which has happened a million times in NFL drafts. And Kalijah is really good. Yeah, I love Kalijah. That's the thing. I love Kalijah. And there's a chance he's better. And I hate when people say there's no chance he's better. That's so stupid. Let's look back in history. Let's look back in history. The number one rated player or pick player at a position doesn't necessarily end up being the best player out of the draft that year at that position. It's a theory that's proved wrong all the time. Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. He's picking the 6th round. So we don't know. And Kalijah's great. He's a great player. Like, if we took Kalijah with the 13th pick, I would be doing jumping jacks. I would. I mean, I'd be sitting there also praying that somehow Anton Harrison or Darnell White, slip to the 2nd round where we can get them. And then I'd be sitting there praying, if we hadn't already signed, like if we have not by then signed Jones and shored up the center position, that somehow in the 4th rounds, there'd still be a center there that we can trust and start. Although I do think we'll sign Jones by then, and I don't think we're going to have that pressure on us. But aside from all that, Kalijah, man, he's amazing. So if I'm Jalen Carter, you better take it easy, buddy. There's another guy out there that people are pretty excited about. There's also a guy named Mozzie Smith people are excited about. And there's also even a guy who some people have way back in the draft and some people have him further up, and that's Benton. There's other defensive tackles that people are excited about. And while Jalen Carter percentage and statistically has the best chance and the highest ceiling and the best chance to be the best defensive tackle, I don't know if his percentage of being the best one overrides the combination of Kalijah, Mozzie Smith, Benton, Ika. Like, all those 4 combined, their chances of being the best defensive tackle in the draft might be better. You know what I mean? Like, you could be the favorite, but not the favorite against everyone. You know what I'm talking about? Even the favorite to win the Super Bowl when you pick that team, like let's say it's Kansas City. Let's say they're 2, 3-1, 4-1. Right? Which means that they're still saying that the rest of the NFL combined, all the other teams against Kansas City, is still, if the odds are 3-1, 2 out of 3 times it's going to be a different team. Well, it's the same kind of thing as what I'm talking about. We don't know for a fact. He's the best prospect, yes, but we don't know for a fact that he's going to be the best defensive tackle in the draft. We just don't know that. I wish I did, because anybody who could know these things would be a very wealthy GM. Because it's like, we would all love to know, but we don't know. We just do our best to just judge. Deion Sanders did the same thing. Well, Deion Sanders ended up being, one of the greatest players in the NFL. Sometimes you can take a player who's arrogant and cocky, and it doesn't matter. They're so great, it still works out for you. And sometimes that player can be Antonio Brown or whatever, and like he was good for a bunch of years for Pittsburgh, but then he became a disaster for every team he touched. Right? So I don't know. But just because you can give an example of someone of bad character or someone that's a little questionable character, I'm not gonna say it's bad character because I don't know the guy personally. I'll say questionable character. Let's be honest. Most of the time, low character, like not the best character, is a negative in their career. Most of the time, right? I think we could all agree that we want players with the best possible character. Because when I think of the great ones, Ed Reed, Ronnie Lott, Jerry Rice, Marvin Harrison, when I think of the great players, Emmitt Smith, Jim Brown, these were men of character. So, I love this that I'm getting all these kudos for keeping it unique. Jets talk, baby. We're not talking about quarterback. We're not talking about Green Bay. We're talking about Jalen Carter. He seems like a douche. His pro day was as bad as I've seen. Will he ruin the team chemistry? You see, that's what I'm talking about. And you want to tackle. I don't blame you. I want to tackle. I don't know that we need to tackle at 13. I wouldn't mind it if Broderick was there, or I won't complain. I don't mind if we take a tackle at 13. I believe the best option would be, I would love it if we traded back to in the 20s and still got a guy like Darnell White, Anton Harrison, and got one of those tackles that have just as much of a chance to be a Pro Bowl tackle than any of the others. But I mean, they all have different fans. People like different ones and think different tackles are the better player. I think there's I think it's very close that with the top 4 to 5 guys. So to me, if you can get either, like, let's say there's Paris Johnson Jr., there's Pete Stromkowski, there's Broderick Jones, there's Anton Harrison, there's Darnell White, and then some people dark horse DeWan, but I think Jet fans are a little burned out on big players like DeWan because of Becton. I think people are a little against that. But there are 4 or 5 they're real guys. And any of those 5 can end up being the best tackle of all of them. Like, none of us know for sure, right? None of us really know. I feel the best about Broderick Jones. Well, I don't know. Pete Stomkowski is like the AVT. I know he's going to be a great guard. I just don't know if he's going to be a great tackle. But to me, if we could trade back and recuperate our 3rd round pick, and then for next year get whatever we're going to give Green Bay back, and then still get one of those tackles, and then it's like the only thing we lost was Elijah Moore, and then we get everything else back. That would be really nice, in my opinion. I would like that. But if they run out and the tackle that JD loves is there at 13 and they grab him, you won't hear me complain about that either. Joe Lewis says that he was skeptical on Jalen Carter prior to both the speeding incidents and a lot of the rumors from people I trust at Georgia that he's got major maturity issues. Well, it's showing up now, because to me, that's immature. I mean, I'm an educator, and I would never tell any of my young students, and I know some that are good athletes, but I have a friend whose kids are all like special. They're all going to be like, have a chance to play in the league. He has 3 sons. The youngest one is the most special of all of them. And there's no way he would ever raise them or allow them to pull a stunt like that and say, I'm not talking to any team out of the top 10. He would never have it. Never. Just think of Garrett Wilson. Think of the character. Think of like him and his dad and the things that they said. Think of that's what you want. Jalen Carter was familiar pre-draft issues. Jameis Winston. Jameis straightened himself out quickly. Yeah. He still had some issues, but yeah, you're right. You're right. He got humbled. Vervain, you're funny. Yeah, my only beef with him was that he's a bully, that bullied people, and he's disgusting. I don't like people who are mean to other people. I don't care if he's mean to me, but when he started to put down other people, things that came out of his mouth, I was like, when you put in your profile, I like to personally attack people and defend it as a smart way to argue with people and debate. You know you're dealing with somebody of very low character. Oh, no one spoke up to him for him. Now we're getting all like that movie with that movie, the draft movie with the Cleveland Browns. No one went to his birthday party. Why? Thoughts on DeJuan Jones? So I like DeJuan Jones. I think that if we didn't have the disaster with Becton, DeJuan Jones might be higher for all of us. I think that the Becton injury, being a big guy, I don't care about what everyone says about the weight, this, that. I mean, the injuries and not being able to heal his knee because of his size, that being a big part of it. I think that we all might feel more comfortable with more of a 320 pounds, 330 pound, like 30 pound, strong, quick style of tackle. Than getting another 6'8", 6'9", 380 pounder. But that aside from that, DeJuan Jones is a beast. It's hard to sit there. You can't put this guy down. I mean, if you watch tape, go on YouTube and search DeJuan Jones and watch his highlights. The guy absolutely dominates people. Dominates them. But look, there's a reason why he's ranked behind a lot of those other guys. There might be some speed and footwork issues and things like that. And at the next level, the size is good, but they're fast guys at edge in the NFL. So he's going to have to be able to keep up with the speed wise. The Crab Labs, yeah. Any news on free agents? I think that our big free agent thing that we're looking at is Jones, the center. That's our biggest need. I think it'll take a lot of edge off in the draft. I don't think you ever want to go into a draft with that level of need where you have no options. I think that if we sign Jones, it takes that edge off. And if the right guy is there in the second round, maybe we take Schmitz, and I wouldn't complain. But it'd be nice what if Kalijah's there in the second round? Right? What if somebody's there? So, someone's going to slip. They always do. There's always going to be some guys that slip. What if JD loves one of the guys that slips? If you sign Jones, then suddenly you could say, okay, we could do without the center this year, or we can gamble and see if the center slips to the fourth round if we didn't recuperate a third-round pick. This one I have trouble with because I was much higher on Whippler because I feel like there's versatility there. But then people really started selling me on Tippmann. I'm going to be really honest here. I don't know. I would be happy with either one of them because I don't know. I don't have I don't. Right now, my heart, my instinct tells me Whippler because there's versatility there. If you did have Jones and then someone gets hurt, you could bring Whippler in at guard. Tom C really sold me hard on Whippler, but then a lot of people, especially like the NFL experts and all that, and when you're reading about the rankings and the players, they really sold me on Tippmann. So it's really hard for me. I didn't watch enough tape on either one. I watched highlights, but I don't consider that watching tape. When I say watching tape, I mean watch them in real games, not the highlights. What did they do on regular plays? Not the ones that somebody pointed out where they did something great. And I didn't do that because it's center, and I don't have that much time. I didn't do it this year, to be honest, as much. I did it much less. I did a lot more of it last year and the year before that, especially at quarterback. And when we needed a quarterback, I spent a lot more time doing quarterback. So I don't know. I know that I'd be happy with Whippler or Tippmann, or I love Steve Avila. And the reason I like Avila is because Avila definitely plays all over the line, like any of the guard spots also. I love that. I love the idea of if we do sign a Jones, and a Jones is going to be our center, I love the idea of taking the center, the future center, who brings immediate value to the team because they're not only the backup center, but they're the backup guards as well. Like guys that you have trouble keeping off the field because they're so good, but you're paying Laken Tomlinson all this money, but you're secretly thinking, is Whippler better? Or is Avia better? Should I just like have Avia in there instead? I personally am hoping that Laken Tomlinson's going to have a bounce back year. So that Woods sounds like a good idea. Al Woods. I don't know who Al Woods is. Who's Al Woods? Oh. Yeah, Dino knows. Yeah, Avia's a good kid. Reminds me of AVT. Like not playing wise, but personality wise. He has like an AVT like feel to him. When Dom interviewed him, he's like reminded me of AVT. Like he's kind of like this really nice kid, soft spoken, really just like just like there's some innocence in him. You know what I mean? But when he plays like a monster, like a beast. So I like that. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So I don't know. Maybe we do that. Maybe we grab him. Avia would be a good pick. I mean, there's lots of guys. Oh, they're meeting with Al Woods. He was the guy that was cut by who, right? He played for Baltimore or no? Cincinnati? No. I saw that. Somebody let go of a tackle or someone. It's like I saw that. Former defensive tackle for some team is talking to the Jets. Or like, right, the Jets were one of like the 2 or 3 teams mentioned. I don't know. Is he like the guy, or is he like another just role player? Like, is he just to replace Shep? And is he as good as Rankins? Oh yeah, Seahawks. Right away, I get a good vibe when you come from the Seahawks because it feels like everybody who plays defense for the Seahawks is good. It's like I don't know how Pete Carroll does it, but it feels like everybody. You put a Seattle Seahawk uniform on, and you're a good freaking defender. You know, yeah. Look, if they sign, I mean, it takes away. To me, you still draft one. You still draft a defensive tackle, but now you don't have to draft 2, and you get another veteran guy that you know can take a percentage of the snaps. So as long as they don't overpay him, fine. I don't know how good he is. I don't know if he's good or bad, but I assume that he's decent. But it sounds like he's a real veteran if he's 36. So he's obviously a 1-year just rental, get a veteran in a room. You can't be much worse. You can't. Not that he was that bad last year, but anybody's going to be pretty much like Shep. I mean, it's not like Shep was great, right? Shep was horrible 2 years ago, and then he was a little better last year. Yeah. So if you're the Shep replacement, you're a body. You're just a body. Experience. You're not going to make any horrible mistakes. Thank you, Sully. You're the GOAT. No, you're the GOAT. No, he's the GOAT. No, I'm the GOAT. But 36, yeah, that's old, man. We're bringing in some old men. But it's not like we're bringing old men to be the future of the team for the next 5 years. We're literally plugging holes. You know what I mean? Just for the year. Like the easy guys that you just replace again until you get the young development of the player. That's why we would still draft a defensive tackle. You start developing these young guys that start to then fill the role permanently. But like if you're going to go on a rotation of 9-10 guys that all play the way we do our defensive line, some of them are going to be veterans that you plug in because you're not going to like develop and draft 10 defensive linemen. But I love the fact that we got 2 that could be around for a long time in Clemens and JJ. That's nice. I think that's a really good thing. And I would love to extend Quinnen, and I would love to draft another defensive tackle that ends up being a really solid, good player. And if we end up using a top 2 pick, round 1 or round 2 pick on a defensive tackle, then I'm hoping for more. I'm greedy. I want more than just a better than average tackle. I want a really good one. So the pipeline. You got to have the pipeline. Leo Vernaccio, winner of all things Green Bean. Jay Carter said his not being with any team that is not top 10 in the draft. How does that work? That means that he's not going to meet with any team that asks him to have a meeting. He's just simply going to say no. So if the Jets said, we want to talk to you, he's going to say, nope. Stupid, right? Really, really stupid. Really stupid. Let me tell you something. There is nothing I would love more. Not even so we can pick them. I mean, if we pick them, fine. But to me, the funniest thing in the history of the world would be if Jalen Carter slips out of the top 10 and then slips further back because all the teams that go say, I didn't get to interview you. Not using my pick on you. There's a lot of good players and people with different needs, teams with other needs. So, yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. And that's my concern. That's my concern. Dumb players scare me. People who are dumb scare me. I mean, how could he do that? It's just arrogance, man. It's like, what can you say? To me, there's no way that it's anything other than arrogance. It's the definition of arrogance. He's basically saying, I'm going to be a top 10 pick. I'm not going to waste my time talking to any of you. To me, it's so disrespectful to the rest of the draft class. So disrespectful. Do you think Joe tries to lowball Williams? I really hope we pay him. Well, I'm just hoping it's not lowballing. I hope that he just doesn't have to overpay him. I hope Quinnen likes New York, New Jersey, and likes the Jets and is one of those players that says, hey, I'm going to get paid top 3. I'm going to be I'm going to be in the 20s. I'm going to get 2 to 3 years guaranteed. You're going to give me 50 to 60 million guaranteed. I'm going to get you got to give me the big contract. He's not running a charity. But at the same time, not say, oh, well, that other guy got 25 because some team is stupid. So that means you have to pay me 27, 28 million a year and guarantee 3 years or something. That would be disappointing. Because I don't know if we can go and do that, like 75 million guaranteed, 28 million a year. Like, I don't know if we could do that for a tackle. I don't know. Maybe we can. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, he's our best player. So maybe I'm wrong. But it is it's getting a little nerve-wracking. I mean, I think the reason it hasn't happened, it's too early to panic. I think it's because our GM is focused on other things. But yeah, I don't know. I hope that we just work something out with Williams where everybody's very happy. I wouldn't risk it by drafting him. Jalen Carter, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Other teams might be thinking that. I'm not going to risk picking this guy. I mean, if you pick Jalen Carter at this point, and he ends up being like he gets arrested for something stupid, like a car thing again, or if he's just a problem in the locker room, and by year 2 he's pissing people off, or in the 3rd year he's yelling for an extension rating and threatening to sit out or demanding trades, like anything like that. If you take him, if you're a team that takes him, and that happens, your job as a GM is in danger because you can't say there wasn't warning. There was a warning. You can't say, oh, there was no way we could have known. Oh, yeah. Definitely a way you could have known. This guy has problem written all over him. He has problem written all over him. He has concerns stamped all over him. And he created those concerns about himself. All he had to do was even if you believe I'm the best player, I'm the best player, I'm better, I'm the number 3 player in the draft, I should go top 3, I should be the first non-quarterback positional player picked. Even if you believe that, you got to at least put on an act. You got to pretend to be humble. You got to say there's a lot of great players. I hope I'm blessed and I go in the top 5, top 10. If I don't, that means there's a plan for me somewhere else. Like, play the game. And I'll play hard for any team that drafts me, and I'll reward them for it. Play the game. He's already showing he's greedy because he's worried about the money. If you get paid at 12th or 13th or 14th with that salary versus getting picked 6th, I understand that it's a difference in money. You're rich, you're a millionaire. And if you're as good as you think you are, your second contract is going to be 20 to 25 million a year at defensive tackle anyway. So what are you worried about? The greed. Give me $5 million right now. I'm done. All I'll do is YouTube all day. I will retire from any real work because I love doing YouTube. So it's work, but it's not when you love something, you know what they say. I'll just do YouTube all day. 3 million, I think, would be enough. I think as long as my wife kept the job with benefits, 3 million, 5% interest, 150,000. Yeah. 3 million. 3 million. 2 million, 100 grand. Yeah, why not? If you have a bad year, though, you get screwed. You know what I mean? Like it's your mutual funds don't do well. Feel a little bit safer with 3 to 4 million. But still, these guys are fighting over, like they're making millions anyway. Millions and millions of dollars. The greed is just amazing to me. Mike Cause, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, look, we've been talking character for a long time on this team since JD came in and Robert Saleh came in. Character is supposed to be the big thing. So, Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing. You stick him with Aiden Hutchinson and you're gold. So he should go to Detroit, but Detroit might have other needs. So we'll see. But Detroit needs defense, and he certainly would give them a very formidable defensive line. Yeah, well, if he would have just stayed in shape, showed up at his pro day. The car thing, he couldn't do anything, but he could have went public with it and said, we did a really stupid thing. Like, if that's the truth, because I don't know the truth in that, but if there's truth to it, like if he was in a drag race, he should have said, we were all celebrating, we were happy, the cars were lined up, we looked at each other, and we raced, and then their car crashed, and it'll haunt me the rest of my life. And I want to be an advocate out there to tell people, I want to warn kids, never race it. Like if he would have done that, showed up to pro day in shape, and just interviewed with all teams and said, I'll be happy wherever I go. If he would have done that, top 5 pick, right? Top 5 pick. Like 3 quarterbacks in the top 5, maybe. Okay, top 6 picks might be 4 quarterbacks, maybe not. But not positional players, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter. Those are the 2 best players in football. The quarterbacks is only because of position. The 2 best, talent-wise, the 2 best players in this draft is Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. And you could argue over which order. And suddenly, he's doing everything he can to talk his way out of the top 10. Or behave his way out of the top 10. Everything that he's doing is like, can only hurt him. So, just crazy. I mean, it really doesn't make any sense. So, Sully, I would tend to agree with you, but 13, no one would call without the character, without the big question marks on character. No one would say 13 is too rich for this guy. This is a special guy. This is special. I mean, like talent-wise. Talent-wise, there's a reason he's arrogant. Like, watch any Georgia game and just focus on him. You know what I mean? Just focus on him. Watch what he does. Watch how dominant he is. He's special. Like, there's no arguing it. But, like, if he's going to know he's special and he's going to come in with that arrogance, that scares me. That scares me. Yeah, maybe he's had secret talks and he wants to be a Jet. The Jets are one of the most attractive. Well, the Philadelphia is up there too. There's 2 attractive teams. There's 2 attractive teams you can get picked by right now early. You go to usually you get picked by 13. You're not getting picked by a good team, but the Jets with Aaron Rodgers picking at 13, you're joining a team that's going to play for a Super Bowl. Pretty freaking exciting. But then again, Seattle's got an early pick and they're really good. Philadelphia is, they were just in the Super Bowl. So there's going to be an opportunity for a draft pick to go to a very good team early. What's going on, Jets fan 4? Good to see you, brother. I'm kind of nearing the end of this. Sorry, but it's good to see you. We're just talking about Jalen Carter. I'm curious about your thoughts. I have concerns about him now. I don't know if you know this, but he announced that he's not talking to any team that's not in the top 10. So in other words, if we wanted to interview Jalen Carter, thinking, oh, maybe he'll slip, maybe we would trade up. Like, even if we thought that, he won't talk to us because he decided that he is only worthy of being. He's so worthy of being a top 10 pick that he won't even talk to a team that's not in the top 10, forgetting about trades, forgetting about that reality. So if there was a team that was crazy enough, that loved him enough, that was going to try to trade up to get him, guess what? He won't even talk to them. So I love this. I was talking about this with someone today. I said, look, if we sign Jones and get Jones at center, if we take a tackle, or if Becton is super healthy and Dwayne Brown is much healthier and Max Mitchell's good, and we get a tackle, whatever. We get a good center, Lincoln is now the weak link on the line, and he can't play worse than he did last year. Let's say he regresses a little bit more back to average. So now we have this really good offensive line. I know it's a lot of things, but I'm saying if this was to come together and we have a good offensive line that doesn't even have to be great, top 3, top 5 great, because it's Aaron Rodgers and it's Breece Hall, and assuming Breece Hall is assuming Joe Douglas is not lying and Breece Hall is Breece Hall and he's healthy and he's doing really well, people don't understand how good our offense could be. Like, we might be, with everything clicking, we might be a team that scores 28 to 31 points a game. We might be top 5. And if we come back and we're a top 5 defense and a top 5 offense, I'm not going to be afraid to say Super Bowl, baby. Super Bowl, baby. Chaos, any chance if D-Hop gets released, we could scoop him up instead of OBJ? I would love D-Hop. Depends on the money. Depends on the money. I don't know where the money's coming from. I thought the money was coming from cutting Carl Lawson and Corey Davis, but that hasn't happened. So maybe they'll be restructuring, but they already used up they restructured a lot of guys already. So I don't know where the money's coming from, because when we get Rodgers, it's not like he's free. I know that they're working it out a way that we might not have to pay Rodgers too much this year, but like, what the hell? It's not going to be free. So where's the money? And how much is D-Hop going to get? It's hard to imagine. It's hard to, I don't know. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at judging these kind of things. But isn't D-Hop going to get at least $15 million minimum? Wouldn't that even be low? Right? Like, I'm not crazy. D-Hop is going to get at least $15 million, right? How do we have $15 million? I don't even understand it. I know that there's a lot of things JD can do with the cap, and he can structure contracts in fancy ways. I get it. It's just that he hasn't been that kind of GM, so it's just hard to fathom. But if we somehow signed D-Hop, I would be excited, Leo. How could you not? I would definitely be excited. I don't know if he's ever going to be as good as he was. His best days might be behind him. But he's not. We're not relying on him to be the WR1. Like, if he came in, you got Garrett Wilson, and then you got him, and you got Lazard in the slot, big target. I mean, as long as he could just play that role, I mean, it's not like D. Hopkins doesn't have anything left. I'm sure he's got some juice left, and he's going to have some big plays. So, yeah, it would be exciting. I think they really want to match up Beckham with Rodgers, though. I think they really are friends, and I think that, there's something to be said about when friends want to play together. That works out. I don't trust his ACL. I don't trust his knees, his legs. So, I mean, his ACL, right? Yeah, his ACL. So, yeah, I'm concerned. I'm concerned if they give OBJ some crazy contracts. I'm concerned. I would take him for like $6 million guaranteed. He can make up to 10 with incentives. That's about it. I wouldn't give him more than $6 million guaranteed. Garrett Wilson's stat line with Rodgers. 1,300 yards, 90 catches, 8 touchdowns. Too optimistic. I'm going to say that's not optimistic enough. Unless it's because Vervain, he's throwing a lot to Lazard, and he's throwing a lot to OBJ or whoever else we get, and he's spreading out the ball more. Like, maybe he's going to use the tight end more. But when you consider Garrett Wilson getting 80-something receptions, what did he get, 83? 1,100 yards with complete incompetence at the quarterback position. I mean, we were the 32nd best quarterback overall. Our 4 quarterbacks were 32 in the NFL. And he got 1,100 yards, 83 receptions. Now you're going to stick Rodgers on that team? Now, to be fair, what makes these numbers more realistic and why we can't just say he's going to get 1,700 yards with Rodgers is because Rodgers likes to distribute, Rodgers can will distribute the ball. And he likes Lazard. And he's going to throw to him a lot. And Conklin is probably going to be a much more effective receiving tight end with a quarterback like Rodgers. And then if we get Beckham, I mean, so then, everybody's got to eat. And then Breece Hall. If Breece Hall at any point of the season becomes the Breece Hall that got before he got hurt, it's, we can't forget about that. He's a game-changing running back. All I know is we're going to score a lot of points. Like, we have an opportunity to score a lot of points and being a top 5 offense in the NFL with Aaron Rodgers and other things coming together. The offensive line comes together. We draft well, and we give him a very good offensive line or a better than average offensive line. And you give him Breece Hall in the backfield to force them to keep some guys in the box. Otherwise, Breece Hall eats them alive. And then you give him CJ and Conklin at tight end, Ruckert, blocking. Garrett Wilson lined up, Lazard lined up. This kid from Kansas City who can take the top off downfield. And whoever else they sign. I don't know, man. It's pretty scary. We could be pretty good. And then when you consider our defense, everyone's going to eat, but the offense should be on the field much, much more to level it out. I do agree with that. It's amazing that Garrett Wilson got the yardage he got because there was so many 1, 2, 3 and outs. There were so many lost drives where he didn't get any production. So it is amazing what he did. And look, if Rodgers throws for 4,400 yards, there's a lot of yards to go around there. Garrett Wilson could be 1,500 of those yards, 1,600 of those yards, and there's still, 2,800 yards left. Did I do the math right? Yeah. Still a lot of yards left for other people. So, yeah, look, it could be very, very special. This could be a very, very special season. Like if it's all about the offensive line. I'm very confident about the defense coming back and being a top 5 defense. I really am. I think we're going to draft a defensive tackle somewhere. I think we'll add maybe a linebacker. We'll do some things. It's the system. It's a solid team. It's going to be a solid defense. But if that offensive line, if Becton is looking so good, my God, if Becton is anything like he was his rookie year, and stays healthy, and then you got Dwayne Brown and Mitchell, if they come back, and we're drafting another tackle on top of that, and then we get our Jones at center, a veteran, or if we draft Schmitz or we get if we bulk up that offensive line, and Breece Hall gets healthy at any point during the season, and you got Aaron Rodgers throwing to Garrett Wilson and Lazard and whoever else we pick up, whether it's OBJ or not. I mean, I'm sorry. It's going to be fucking electric. It's going to be electric. We're gonna do something that we've never seen as Giants. We're gonna see our team score lots of points. Lots of points. Not just as a freak thing when Miami is falling apart and turnovers, and we put up a 40 burger. Wow. How about doing that several times? How about being in the 30s lots of times? How about winning games 37-13, 34-10? Like, I'm talking about we could be that kind of team. Am I lagging? Is the internet starting to go? It wouldn't surprise me. But what's up, Buffalo? Good to see you, brother. Nobody was on, so I thought I would jump on. I didn't see Ryan. I didn't see Green Bean, which was weird. I thought he does a Monday show, but then Dom C is on a cruise. So, yeah. You know, so I got on. You are food now. Food now. Oh, the food reviews. I just did one before. I've done a couple in the last 2 days. I'm hitting all the Hostess products. I'm doing like all the Hostess stuff. So we got a lot coming out. We're trying to do a video every day. It's not going to last. I'm mainly because my number one video producer, my oldest brother Lee, is going to Greece. So he might come back with a lot of reviews, but while he's gone, me and Matthew are not going to be able to maintain one video a day. I mean, I'm literally going to go out and buy Doritos and review Doritos. Like, that's the only way I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to have to just buy everything in the supermarket and just review every known product. Because how am I going to go to that many restaurants? I can't go to a restaurant every day. Tigo, what's going on? Don't you got to do your homework? Still doing homework. Just came by to say, what's up? What's up? Do your homework, young man. I'm jealous. Yeah, Green Bean's off the grid. I think he's doing some weird thing. I say weird thing. He's doing something. I don't know, something where, where you find yourself, that kind of thing. He'll be back on Thursday, luckily. We can't live without Green Bean on Thursday night. If you don't have Green Bean, you get withdrawal. Ryan hasn't been posting anything coming on live in a week. He set up the shows for the draft. He might be taking time off. Ryan might be taking time off. It is possible. He did last year. So he might be taking time off. Good. He deserves it. Deserves to take a break. Guess who got banned from commenting on Jake Asman's channel for an April Fool's joke? You got banned from Jake Asman's channel? He bans a lot of people pretty easily. Surprising. I ban people. Like, I'll block people, but then I unblock them like a week later. I'm like, I'll unblock them. And then some of them make me regret it. They come back and they act like, douchebags. But, I try to give people, more chances. Like, maybe if I unblock them, they'll come back and they'll just be normal. Remember there was a guy last week, he came back and he was like yelling at me, oh, you blocked me, blah, blah, blah. And then he acted like a creep the whole time. I didn't block him because I wanted to prove him wrong. I said, okay, just be a creep and I'm not going to block you. I was kind of hoping one of my moderators would. How come Tigo's not a moderator? Hold on one second. Tigo, stay here for a second. Doesn't make any sense. Tigo. Add as managing a standard moderator, right? Standard or managing? I'm going to say standing. I don't know the difference, Tigo. Hope I didn't offend you by just making you a standard moderator, but you should be a moderator. And what about Buffalo? Did I ever make him a moderator? I learned how easy it is when you got to take advantage when they come and they comment. Because you could just go to their name. Here he is, Buffalo. Standard moderator. There we go. Tigo and Buffalo are now moderators. They have to be. They're always on my channel. I mean, they're my good friends. It's like, I just forget. I made Matthew Smith a moderator. That was a ballsy move. Dakota, what's up? You late though, bro. You're usually number one here. Anyway, Jalen Carter would not be worth it. We're back to that topic. So I was talking about that a lot. Now, I'm not dead against Jalen Carter, but I am having my doubts. You're saying it's his work ethic. I'm saying it's because he's stupid. Because anybody who goes and says, I'm not going to, anybody who says, I'm not going to interview with any team out of the top 10, it's just a stupid move. It doesn't take away his talent. It doesn't mean he's not an amazing player. But it's a stupid move. It's like really, really stupid. If I'm coming out as one of the top prospects in the NFL draft, I'm going to be the most humble. Like, I'm going to be the opposite of chaos. I'm going to be calm and even keel and collected, and I work hard every day from morning to night, and I eat healthy, and I'm well balanced. Even if I'm lying my ass off, at least I'm going to try to present myself as a non-arrogant guy. Asman gets mad if you don't agree with him. Yeah, well, everybody's different. He's a guy who wants you to agree with him, maybe. I don't know. I haven't had a problem with Asman. I haven't. And obviously most people don't. I mean, he does really well. How could I sit there and criticize Asman? I'm happy when I get 50 viewers. He breaks 800. I mean, it's hard to argue with success. Maybe people like that arrogance. Maybe because he presents himself as somebody who knows what he's talking about. By not, by being more cocky, yeah, you're going to piss some people off, but then you come off as this expert that people want to watch. But why is it a really smart move? What's the benefit of it? What's the benefit of saying I'm not going to talk to anybody outside the top 10? Like, why is that smart? Like, how that's going to make a team want you more? Ooh, he's cocky. Like, so Tigo, what about, and I know it's not likely a team would have traded up into the top 10, but what if a team was going to trade into the top 10? What if he slipped to 8 or something and a team was going to trade up to 9, like a team that's 11 or 12? What if a team was going to trade up to get him? They can't now because they didn't get to interview him. Why high risk, high reward? Why take any risk? You're freaking Jalen Carter. Arguably the best positional player in the draft, right? It's between him and Will Anderson. You're definitely number 2. You're already the top 2 positional guy. Why not just be a good, humble guy? Why be an arrogant prick? Why not just come out and be a nice guy? Just come out and say, I'll talk to anyone. Maybe one. What about when he's on a second contract? What if a team says he shunned us? Like, I don't understand. Why not just be a good dude? I made the argument by saying he's the number 2 guy. But if there's questions about his character, then you should interview and prove to people that it's not true. Or at least pretend you don't think it's true. I don't know. I think that Joe Douglas cares. I'm not saying that I wouldn't take him. I know, and I told, by the way, Tigo, when you were gone, I said Tigo would animately be screaming that you do not hesitate and you take Jalen Carter and it doesn't matter. I said that. I told everybody that. I said there's no way Tigo would even hesitate to grab Jalen Carter. And I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm not saying I wouldn't. But I have concerns. I have concerns. Because I don't see how is the agent? Is that a smart move? How is potentially pissing off other teams a smart move? Interview with whoever wanted to interview with you. Make allies. Create bridges. One day you're going to want 25 to 30 million a year. Talk to GMs. Get to know them. Show them what a great guy you are. Leave an impression. Come on. How does that make him more desirable? Oh, now I really have to have him. He doesn't want to talk to anybody outside the top 10. Oh, I've got to have him on my team. Come on. I don't agree. A guy like that doesn't have to gamble. Look, he's rubbing people the wrong way, Tigo. Wild Wave, you don't know Wild Wave. Wild Wave's a regular person. GMs are people. Don't tell me that GMs aren't human beings. There are GMs that may have been rubbed the wrong way, just like Wild Wave was rubbed the wrong way. Yeah, look, on as far as Jake banning people, Matt O'Leary's one of his favorite things to do now is to throw people in the bathroom. People love it. People beg to be thrown into the bathroom. They're like, throw me in the bathroom. I want to be thrown in the effing bathroom. I mean, I tend to agree with you. But I don't understand why he has to make the point of not talking to people. I don't understand. Build bridges. The short memories, yeah, but build bridges. Build bridges. Create fans. Make a GM one day say, oh, we should just pay him the money. He was great. Remember, he was in here. We didn't get him, but he was great. He was such a good guy. Yeah, there are people that are mad. What if he slips to us and Joe? What if he did slip though, Tigo? What if he slipped? What if you're wrong? What if he slipped? What if people say I'm just nervous about his character? He was involved in some kind of crazy accident. He was overweight at his pro day. What if he slips? And then JD comes up there and looks at Sal and said, I really like to interview. I'm going to use the 13th pick on a guy who didn't even we didn't get to interview him. We know nothing about his character. He's a stranger. I don't know if I could bring him into my room. Now, I'm not, again, I'm not saying I wouldn't pick him. I'm not a lunatic. Because the truth is he might be a Hall of Fame player. So Jess Van Fort doesn't even think he's going to go in the top 10. I don't know Jess Van Fort because we're talking about a guy who honestly could be a Hall of Fame defensive tackle. Like, honestly, he is very special. But I really like Kalijah Cansey. I do. I really like Cansey. I don't disagree. He was probably an asshole, but kind of earned the right to be an asshole. Really? Do you earn the right to be an asshole? Because I think that football is more than just talents. Like, I think that if you have two really talented players, one might be a little bit better, but if one of is a great, great team player and the other is a total asshole, I don't know. I might go for the team player. Or how about this? This is what I was saying before, Tigo. What if this guy, who's so freaking arrogant and such an asshole, year 3 starts screaming he wants the extension now? Starts creating all kinds of problems. What if he doesn't even wait to year 4? What if year 3 he's already creating problems? He's already saying, pay me my money. What if you have to deal with that? Remember, when you draft a guy that high, when you use that kind of draft capital, your hope probably is that he's going to be around for a while. And you certainly don't want it to become a locker room distraction, do you? How big is there a gap? There's a gap. Now look, Kalijah might end up being the better player. And I know that's going to drive Tigo crazy that I say that. But come on, Tigo, you know that the best player coming out in the draft, the best player at a position, doesn't always end up being the best player at that position. You know that. Tom Brady was picked in the 6th round, right? There were a lot of quarterbacks that were projected to be much better. It's a percentage thing. Now, Carter has the higher ceiling. Carter has the better chance of being the Hall of Fame player. He has the better attributes, but it's not like it's 100% guaranteed he's going to be better than Kalijah. No, there's a chance that Kalijah is going to end up being the All-Pro. Maybe Carter's going to be an asshole, who's out of shape, and doesn't work hard. We've seen guys with tons of talent throw their careers away or never live up to their potential. It happens all the time. So we don't know anything for sure. What I'm willing to say is Kalijah's really, really good. I think Kalijah might be all-pro type material, excellent player. But Carter, I think the only way to say it is Carter has a much better chance to be a Hall of Famer. Like in other words, he just has a much better chance because of the attributes that he's showing. It doesn't mean that he will be the better player, but it's certainly based on what you see coming out of college. There's a gap. Not enough of a gap where I think Kalijah is just average. Like, I believe Kalijah is going to be great. Like, if we get him, I'll do jumping jacks. I really will be happy. Like, I think Kalijah is going to be great. I just think that Jalen Carter is a different level. Jalen Carter is just a different level. He's like Will Anderson. They're just at different levels. Yeah, I was making that exact point, though. Elijah Moore, Michael Carter saying all the perfect things, and they turn out to be assholes. Now you're getting a guy who doesn't even want to pretend not to be an asshole. So he's like guaranteed to be a problem. At least give me a guy that pretends. This is such a funny off-the-beat question. What's your favorite New York Giants linebacker from the 80s, 90s, or early? Again, it's that sweet spot of my age. It's going to, obviously it's going to be Lance Mel. Lance Mel. Dude, Carter is going to be out of the league in 3 years if he keeps acting like that. See, Jets fan 4, I didn't know. I wasn't sure which way you were going to go on it. But it turns out you're a character guy. Jets fan 4 is a character guy. You know, he's a character guy. Look, I love Kyle Clifton. Yeah. Look, Tico's not wrong to be passionate about Jalen Carter. Like, you know, we both agree. We both understand that Jalen Carter is very special. We like as far as the talent. I'm just concerned. I'm concerned. Imagine like he's good as a rookie, then he gets better in his sophomore year, then he explodes in his third year, and then boom, he's an asshole that's asking for more money already, and we don't even get to enjoy it. Like, think Jamal Adams. Think Jamal Adams. And look, there's no guarantee on any player that you pick. There's no guarantee. But man, it's hard to pick him without an interview. No interview? At least a chance to look someone in their eyes and see if they're for real? A chance? Yeah, every player is a risk, though. I agree 100%. There's a risk in every player. I'm just saying I have concerns. I have concerns. More than I did. I would feel a lot better about Jalen Carter if he slipped to us and we grabbed him. I would feel a lot better if he wasn't an asshole. If he had been somebody that interviewed with us. If he had been a humble guy. If he would have taken the pro day in Georgia seriously enough to have been fit and in shape. I'd feel better about it. It doesn't mean I don't think he's takeable. It doesn't mean I wouldn't want to take him. I would just feel better. Wouldn't you? Well, it depends on what I don't know what the details of the car accident was. I don't know what the details was. I sure wish he would have said, like, if it was a race or something, I sure wish he would have said, nah, we shouldn't do that. It's dangerous. People die doing that. And I know I make excuses and say, they're just kids. They don't know. But you know what? When I was 21, 22 years old, I knew. I didn't drag race. I didn't. I don't know why, but I didn't do that. I didn't take chances like that. I'm smart enough to understand. I paid attention in driver's ed. When they showed accidents, they showed what can happen to you. It scared me. I valued my life. I valued other lives. So if my friends would have come up to me with their car and said, let's race, I would not have done it. I would have shook my head no. I said, no, do not race. Don't tear out at the light. Don't do it. You hit somebody, you go to jail forever. You crash, you kill yourself. Don't do it. I'm not saying it makes him a bad, horrible person because, you know, not everybody's the same and he may have made a mistake. But, you know, it is something, though, that he didn't put a stop to it. If it's true, I don't know the exact story of what happened. So, out of the I don't know. I mean, you could look. There's a chart, but there's money. The money drops down significantly. Like Sauce Gardner at 4 doesn't even, like, he makes a lot of money, but even like Zach Wilson at 2 is killing us, right? I mean, $20 million to cut him. He's making $11 million a year for the next 2 years. If you drop out, it's not like that. Out of the top 10, it's probably more like 5 or 6 million. Like, I don't know the exact thing. You could go to overthecap.com and look at some of the mid-round picks and see what they get paid. Like, look at Micah Parsons. He was a mid-round pick. Look what he gets paid. Look at Over the Cap and just check out his salary. And you'll have an idea, knowing that guys in the top 5 are making like 10 million. What does Micah Parsons make? And you could see like what the drop-off is. I don't know why I picked Micah Parsons. It's just that was the first player that pops in my head that I know went kind of in the middle of the draft. Wow, I went on a lot longer than I thought. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. I got to go. I've got to leave. It's 8 o'clock. My wife's probably wondering why she doesn't have a husband sitting next to her downstairs to talk to, eat with, watch TV with before it's time to go to bed and go to another work day. So, Patty Grimes said something interesting. He said, "You wrecked your car." Who are you talking to? You wrecked your car. Because suddenly I'm thinking, does Patty Grimes know me? Because when I was 17, I did wreck a car. But I wasn't racing or doing anything stupid. I wasn't doing anything stupid. It wasn't even my fault. Somebody lost control on the Belt Parkway in front of me. And I hit them, and then a car hit me because it was wet. We slid. So it totally wasn't my fault. But, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. It was fun. I hope you guys had a good time. Yeah, Vervain, thanks, man. Thank you guys, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for allowing me to do it and being an audience. I appreciate you guys. New York Jets fan, good to see you, brother. We got to get you back on, man. I love you, man. You're such a good guy. So smart. Such a good Jet fan. I would love to hang out and watch a game with you and just talk Jets because you're a super smart guy. David Gerard, what's going on? Dino, thanks. Wild Wave, love you too, buddy. You're great. Cafe, love you, man. You're great. All you guys are great. Yeah, I mean, look, it would be totally fun to chill with you and talk football, man. You're a great guy. Some guy, take care. I mean, hey, man, it's not impossible I move back to New York someday. So if those of you in the tri-state area, if you are, it might be more realistic than you think to get together because I'm definitely considering moving back. It's not crazy serious at this moment, but me and my wife have had little conversations that, kind of like, could we go back? We kind of still have the rights to an apartment there. We have an apartment and, we want to go back and live back in New York. Everybody take care. And again, thanks for being here. Appreciate everybody. I love playing this one. This is my favorite one. This is how you really get to know me. This is me in a nutshell, guys. This is as real as you'll ever see me right here in this trailing promo. Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh my God. They don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver.
Oh my God, no edge.
Was sitting there and just
The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Yuli, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary, they didn't take Dean, and we traded up. We can get the Kobe Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes! We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. Wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge